Considering Saint Anger was written during a very tumultuous time, I mean, the rehab, Jason leaving, etc. You spoke of it last year, of including 2 years of condensed emotion from personal changes, struggles, epiphanies, whatnot. Now, and lately the band's been in a very clear and productive state. With that in mind, how will the new material be affected lyrically?
Well, hopefully yeah, lyrically, Saint Anger came together just very naturally. I was very weighted down with all of that responsibility, and we were writing really quick, and the quicker we wrote, the more I freaked out about having 20 or more songs, and I need to write lyrics for. So we started getting on the lyrics right away, and everyone just chipped in right away. So I would imagine that we'd go at it like that again, because the long kind of weeding through process of riff after riff does not interest me anymore. I'd like to just show up and start creating right in that moment with whatever's going on in our heads. So I see that continuing. That was a very enjoyable, and we learned a lot about each other.
How's your meaning of success, either in the business sense of it or definition of success for yourself, changed since the Kill 'Em All days?
Well, yeah, a lot of people have different ideas about what success means, and that's good. Lots of people have different ideas about everything, and for me, success is being able to satisfy my creative urge without running into like boundaries, or running into roadblocks, or people saying no. Just being able to create our art in the way we feel it needs to be. So we've been able to do that for 22 years, and so success has come to us slowly. Also, we had to learn what people to stay away from, and we kind of just we grew up in the business, and it wasn't easy, but we learned what to stay away from, and what was a lot more open, and where we like moving to San Francisco and hooking up with certain people for the right reasons. I know there's been kind of a higher power looking out for all of us, but we've really we've found a good combination of people that are able to create magic together.
Do you find it ironic that on some radio stations, tracks like from Kill 'Em All are at this moment getting more airplay than songs from Saint Anger?
Wow. For us, getting any radio play in the old days any radio play was great. Started off with college stations, and even little high school stations, and then obviously the Black Album made it somewhat okay to listen to Metallica or play it on the big time radio. But yeah, Kill 'Em All being played on the radio, why not? It was music that was meant to be heard. And Saint Anger, to me, Kill 'Em All and Saint Anger feel pretty similar. Saint Anger's got a lot more length to it, which is probably the thing holding it back from more radio. It's pretty non-stop kind of punishing music. Kill 'Em All at least was a little shorter and had little bursts of attitude.
In just over a year, how has Robert Trujillo changed Metallica?
He's inspired me to cut my hair. Rob personally has helped me look at a lot of things about myself, being a lot more accepting, not as judgmental. That's the path I've tried to be on since recovery, and he's helped out quite a bit by just being himself, and Kirk as well. They are the, I would say, Lars and I are certain personalities, and Kirk and Rob are another kind of personality. It balances out really nice. So it is nice having another calm person in the camp, you know, and but also bursts of energy. You know, he's just he amazes me with his energy. He amazes me with his memory retention. You know, for 100+ songs. His I call it step up ability. He's up for a challenge all the time, and you know. We go in and we try and mess with him. Hey, we're going to play Disposable Heroes, you know, 10 minutes before we go on. He's like, oh, what album's that on? You know, he'll go learn it, you know. Let me just make some notes. And he goes for it. So Rob is, he's inspirational in quite a few areas. And he's plugged right into Metallica. And he's like a godsend, you know. He belongs, and hope he feels like this is his family for good.
The forthcoming book, So What? The Good, the Bad, the Mad, and the Ugly. What kind of stories can we expect?
That really is a collection of our club magazine articles. So What was the name of our, well, we started a fan club long time ago, and it never really did much. And we wanted to sink some money in and do a real fan club. And you know, we got a lot of negative feedback that they never break even. You're just gonna be, you know, spinning wheels, wasting your time with it, and you know, we don't care. It loses money every year. It's a good connection. And So What magazine was developed out of that. You know, having your own magazine, just to have that was cool enough. You know, and so it's been going on, you know, since, 90 something. So we've had lots of different issues of So What, you know, and for a year. And it's a collection, basically. It's a collection of all the good, the mad, and the ugly articles, you know. And it really documents our growth, you know, because we've done these so-called infamous roundtable discussions where we sit down and discuss, you know, candidly what's going on and what insanity is going on in our heads. And you can see our growth over the years with that as well.
The film, Some Kind of Monster. First of all, I just thought this quote from the song fitted the whole movie perfectly. This is the voice of Silence No More, the monster lives. Now, the band seems so open about everything now, the book, the movie, etc. What do you feel kept the band from doing that in the beginning, if so?
We didn't want to. Well, yeah, we kept. You know, we were always very defensive, very protective of Metallica, and we felt that, you know, it was us against the world all the time. You know, and I truly believed that from childhood, and I really had to fend people off to somewhat stay sane, or to at least have my chunk of sanity, or my piece of life for myself. And you know, in joining Metallica, it fit right in. You know, we were, you know, taking on the world. You know, we were battling uphill all the time, and it felt good. You know, I loved that rebellious kind of negative energy that we were fueled off of for years and years. We were about as closed off as you could get from society, from the world, and wanting it to be that way and loving it that way. We fought for everything, you know, our chunk of music history, you know, and not wanting to let people know the inner workings. You know, you can't see my settings on my amp. You can't, you know, you don't know what song titles are coming up, and all of the, you know, everything was very kind of, you know, club secret kind of stuff, you know, and you know, that just it just made sense that we weren't gonna, you know, each write a book of our life stories, you know, when we were, you know, recording Master of Puppets. So it just continued that way for a long time, and I guess, you know, the maturing of Metallica, or the almost breaking up, you know, kind of the wake up call for us all, made us realize how ridiculous that is, and how much we can connect with people out there. And it's a lot more of a mission now, to be more open and express our insanity instead of trying to hide it from the world, you know.
What was it like seeing yourself on the big screen for the first time? I was wondering why, if you had control over the editing, why do you edit out the mullet days? So.
The mullets were probably some of the best looking hairdos
I
compared
had
to
one
what's
too.
going on now.
I had one too, man. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, jeez. Yeah, lots of different messed up hairdos for sure. You know, we've just, God, searching for who we want to be forever, And seeing myself on the big screen, I'm already sick of looking at myself. I've been looking at myself since we were 19, and magazines and, ooh, look at this, and hey, here's that and that. And it's like, ugh, okay, It was much different to see us, not live performing, not playing up for the cameras or not shooting a video or something like that. It was just us hanging out, and there's some pretty boring stuff in there, and but there's also some really disturbing things, and it's a great mirror. I looked at myself and some of the stuff, and it's that's 2.5 years cut into 2.5 hours, and so the editing, there's some bits of character, not assassination, but character building that the editor has to do, in that time. And, for me, in 1 hour, I've slammed the door 3 times. I've yelled at somebody this many times, and it's just like, wow, what a baby, what a little kid, he can't express his opinion, or people won't hear him, so he goes and slams the door. I mean, that was me as a kid. I was never heard, so usually it was the door to my room. I go and slam that and just, blast whatever music I had. And that, it's a great mirror to see how, wow, people really see that in me. Well, that's not very attractive. I better do something about that.
Before recording Saint Anger, relationships were at an all-time low, and yet, unlike most bands, Metallica survived. Now, do you believe in the old saying, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger?
I totally believe that. And whatever weaknesses you show make you stronger. And like earlier on in our days, we didn't want to show any weaknesses, because that would mean, you were vulnerable, or someone could, business-wise take a shot at you. And, there was always people taking shots at us, But if you just kind of open up, take the vest off and say, hey, go ahead. If you got to do what you got to do, go for it. And, I've put my feelings out there. And, just to be as honest as we can with ourselves is difficult at times. And you really want to, you want to protect yourself. There's the survival techniques that we learned growing up. And, so anyway, being open about all of that stuff and showing weaknesses, it has made us a lot stronger, and we understand each other so much more now, and we can back each other up even more, because we didn't know how to do that before, because we didn't know really, was that person really like that? Were they doing that just to manipulate? What were the intentions? So now we're trying to be as clear and as clear and as clear about being clear. Am I clear?
Great. Some Kind of Monster opens in July, and in the documentary, Dave Mustaine says, I would give anything back to go back to 1982 and hear the band say, hey, Dave, you need to go to AA. Now, that made me personally think, and I'm sure, understandably, how could anybody not, but what would Metallica have sounded like today if? Or how would that have changed at all?
I had no idea what the hell AA was back then, and it was disturbing to hear Dave say that. He's still stuck in some kind of non-reality. I mean, we didn't know what it was back then. Are you kidding? If we would have, known, he would have known. So we wouldn't have had to tell him. So anyway, it was, that whole scene is really, really powerful, between him and Lars. And, it was when I was in rehab, and, it was I could tell it was really uncomfortable for Lars, and Dave was really, he was pretty clear and he seemed very focused, but there was still a lot of, boy, that he was hanging on to so much baggage, and having closure. He'd never had a chance to have any closure, with all of that, and man, yes, he does. He knows about AA. I know about AA. A lot of people do now. And we can do things about that. And we can create a better future by not recreating the past,
Some Kind of Monster. Do you feel the filmmaking affected the music of Saint Anger?
That's a good question. The filmmaking might have influenced the music process in the studio around Saint Anger. Reason being, we had to be. It was like a bullshit detector. We had to not, waste time with that, and I think getting things done a lot quicker. Didn't want to get filmed just sitting around doing nothing. Let's get in the studio. Let's go to work. Let's do some stuff. I don't know. I think it might have helped us be a lot more honest with ourselves.
Try to comment on this quote in the documentary film from manager Cliff Bernstein, quote unquote, "You guys have spent all this time to come back and find yourselves."
Well, that's life, isn't it? That is life, You either come to terms with your past, or you keep trying to find it, or run from it, And somehow we got a head-on collision that happened. It was great, and yeah, I mean, personally that happened, and musically, and friendship-wise, it happened as well. It was a common cause, Hey, let's jump this hugest hurdle ever, and continue on. And, it's not worth divorcing each other. There's still a lot more positive things than really negative things we can't, overcome. So.
Describe the feeling you had walking on stage those very few first times compared to now.
There's more people, which is a good thing. I'd say a little more comfortable. Still get, pumped, nervous in a excited way, not as nervous in a, oh shit, I'm gonna screw up way. Yeah, those first few gigs were pretty nerve-wracking. And still, even being drunk didn't help. But nowadays, being clear and focused and seeing, actually seeing people, connecting with people, thinking, that's me out there watching somebody's show, So let's do it good, man. Let's step it up.
Every time I go see a band live, I'm always curious firsthand, like what the stage is going to look like. You get your ticket ripped, you run through that tunnel, and you're curious, like what's it going to look like? What your first very vision of the band. For the people who have not seen the Madly and Anger at the World Tour yet, describe to them what they're going to see when they first walk in the venue.
Why do I want to describe it? That'll ruin that feeling, man. When they come running in there, they're gonna hopefully see something they haven't seen before. And that's what we try and do. We want to do something we haven't done before either, and and make it as intimate as possible. That's the ultimate goal for us. Even in the stadiums and indoors, we try and make it as close as possible in your face.
Explain what you feel is Metallica's greatest accomplishment thus far since the band was formed way back in 1981.
Greatest accomplishment has got to be staying together for 22 years, I don't know how many bands. I couldn't name 10 bands that have, stayed together that long. There are a few that have gone away and come back, Aerosmith, Kiss. There's, bands like Blue Oyster Cult. And, I used to think, what are they doing? don't they know that Blah was their best album? You know, it's like, yeah. When probably about 10 years ago, I started thinking that, you know what, if they're happy doing it, do it. Why would you stop playing music? Why would you stop creating music with the people that you create, you know, that feel magical with, you know? Whether it's popular or not it really doesn't matter, you know? You guys are creating stuff, and that's what we're still doing, you know? So why not?
As you enter your third decade on top of your game, have your goals changed, and what's left to accomplish?
I'd say entering our third decade, the goals are to stay together. That never would have been talked about before. It was really taken for granted. Appreciate each other. Enjoy every moment while we're doing it, while we're creating, while we're just jamming together, while we're just hanging out, while we're on stage, and use those moments to feel good. And really, I think we've learned to be less fearful of the unknown and what is out there. You know, probably the biggest fear is there's nothing out there. So maybe we'll be okay with that when that time happens. You know, there's always, you know, trouble finds us. We don't really have to go looking for it.
Tell us about your recent experience on TV as a host for ESPN.
Oh, yes. Well, being a singer, I think my weathered voice, after 22 years of yelling at people on the road, I think there's some character in it. So, you know, doing voiceovers or doing narration kind of stuff it's interesting to me, and it doesn't take a lot of acting skill. It doesn't take classes. It doesn't, you know, I don't have to you know, get made up or anything. And I could show up in, you know, grubby clothes, you know, but that's fun, you know, and combining stuff that I you know, combining, you know, with sports as well. You know, I really love the competition of sports. I might not be up on every player that there is or will be, but I enjoy that, and you know, there's some cartoon stuff that I've done that's really fun, and I'd like to continue doing that.
In one of the So What mags, someone asked you about turning 40, and you responded, I want to celebrate finally hitting a quarter of the way done with my life. Now, I'm pretty good at math, so that means you're going to live to be about 160. So what are your plans for the next 120 years?
Learn math. In the next 120 years. Whoa. You know, it's every day amazes me that, you know, I never would have thought 40 would have been some of the better times for me. You know, I thought, you know, 20s was it. But boy, teens were tough. 20s were a lot of fun and discovery. 30s started to get rough, and 40s are getting so, like, calm and so much better. So I'm not sure what the next years have for me. I doubt I'll be living to 160. I'm not sure if I want to. But, you know, life is good, and every day I wake up, it's a good time to be grateful for it, you know, and could be much worse, and it is for some people.
From the Whiplash section of So What, this is from a fan. How would you have reacted if you had listened to Nothing Else Matters in 1983?
Well, I would have turned the radio station. I would have, yeah. I would have rebelled against it. It would have been, oh, that's what I don't want to sound like. But again, closed-minded young whippersnapper that has no clue what he's going to be thinking in, you know, 1 year from now, you know. And that's okay. I'd have been honest with myself then, and I am now, you know. That song means a lot and continues to every time, you know. Every year it comes up with a new meaning for it, so it's really great.
We've been asking all the roadies what their favorite live song live is so far on this tour, and like 4 of them have said that song in particular. So
All the girls?
No, the guys. They were saying even though it's a slower song, it doesn't change the intensity of the show, and that's
Wow,
insane.
awesome.
My parents kicked me out of the house when I was much younger, because my hair was too long, and I must have listened to Fade to Black numerous times every single day. Now, and honestly, I felt it threw me into like this depressive downward spiral, and I've always wondered what prompted that song and those lyrics.
Well, Fade to Black was written on a couch at Metal Joe's house in New Jersey. We were completely like, we lived in this house that was party central, no doubt, all the time, 24 hours a day, party going on. The only sleep I got was on the couch, and I remember waking up hearing, no, I can't tell him, no. It's like, whoa, what is it? It's like, oh, all your gear got stolen. We went up to Boston and put all our gear in a U-Haul, and our road manager at the time, which was a friend of ours, drove it up there the night before to set some stuff up. He came out the next morning, and the whole truck was gone. Someone hot-wired the U-Haul and took off with all our gear, except our guitars. And we were bummed because we were getting ready to go to Europe, and that was it for us. That was our big break, and here we go, like 82, 83. I mean, that was Europe was the big, that was like paradise for metal. We had to get there. They understand us, So getting there was this huge goal, and then we thought, that dream got ripped away from us. So I wrote that song, and I felt really just like, there goes my life, and now what am I gonna do? I have to go back home, and I don't want to. So I wrote that song, and eventually Anthrax heard about it, and they lent us their gear, and we made enough money to buy new gear, playing local gigs. It was an awesome thing they did. Back in the day, it was very just, fighting for the metal, dude. Here, take it, you go. Really cool camaraderie. But yeah, I've heard that song has helped a lot of people.
I've always wondered, where did the inspiration for Disposable Heroes come from? I mean, it's obviously a song about war and whatnot, but did you know somebody who died in the service, or was it just an opposition, to war?
It really fit in with that time when we were, discovering how man has manipulated man, and our somewhat philosophical days. Not that they've stopped, but really around puppets and justice for all, we got really into, why is this happening? Questioning everything, and questioning authority especially, and the military was one easy target. Actually, Disposable Heroes came from a book or a TV show. It was actually about sports figures and how, you just shoot them up, put them out there, and they play, and then they come back all broken like warriors, then they get put back together, they get pumped up with whatever, this kind of, just numb it out and go back out there and battle, and, in 20 years, your career's done, and thanks, goodbye. Then the next young kid comes in, I think that's where it kind of came from, and it fit with the war thing as well.
I was talking to the sound engineer, road engineer, Mike Gillis earlier. He says there's actually 2 songs Metallica has never played live before. Do you know those 2 songs, and why haven't they been played live?
Holy smokes. Well, Escape. I don't think that's been played live. I sure hope not. Escape is one. There's got to be more than. There's a lot that we haven't played live. Ronnie, Slither, Carpe Diem, Baby. A lot off of Reload. I think everything from Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, except Escape, Master Puppets we've played, and Justice for All. I don't know if we've ever played the full Frayed Ends of Sanity. I think we have.
Considering you're using the entire Metallica catalog for the live shows now, what song do you love playing live the most, and why?
Ah, boy. Well, Nothing Else Matters is a great song. I mean, the response it gets and the fact that it is very quiet and it's got a lot of mood to it. Oh, other songs. I mean, I enjoy playing Saint Anger. It really allows me to get pissed off and get it done. Very therapeutic for me. Boy, I love playing I Disappear. I love playing No Leaf Clover. Love playing Jump in the Fire. These are songs that we've just kind of pulled out of the hat recently. Always love playing Fuel. And, you know, I enjoy playing Hit the Lights, too.
This one's tough. I was even wondering if I should even ask it, so if you don't want to answer, that's fine. Are there songs that may have been somewhat influenced by the Cliff Burton tragedy?
Not blatantly, but, you know, To Live Is to Die was a song that I think put some of our grief, we put some of our grief into it directly. And there's some handwritten words that Cliff had written down in his notes somewhere that we put in there. And, you know, I don't even think he came up with them. They're probably quotes from some other book, but they're really cool. And so that's somewhat of a tribute in a subtle way, you know. We're not the kind of people to, you know, overtly just, here's the Cliff tribute out. You know, I mean, the Cliff 'em all thing was somewhat of that. All of the footage of him, you know, a remembrance. But, you know, after that, everything, you know, he's influenced our lives, and he helped us to become more musical. He helped us to be a lot more focused. He was really a powerful human, and you know, we've all learned what we needed to from him in the short time we knew him. And I still believe he lives. He you know, he lives in us all still, and he's pretty happy with what's going on right now, I think. It's back. Maytallica 2004. It's James, and this is mandatory Maytallica. It's James, and this is a mandatory Maytallica moment. Oh yes, it's another mandatory Maytallica moment. Mandatory Maytallica.
What's up? This is James from Metallica.
Keep it here for the next mandatory Maytallica moment. Stay tuned for another mandatory Maytallica moment. Get ready to rock with Metallica! The 2004 Madly in Anger with the World Tour. Tickets are on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Tickets are on sale this Friday at noon. Tickets are on sale this Saturday at 10 a.m. Wake up! Tickets are on sale this Saturday at noon. Put your sandwich down. Tickets are on sale now. And now, a second show has been added. Ha ha! Keep it right here for your Metallica ticket hookup, bro. Maytallica is back. Maytallica 2004. All month, you'll hear about the new tour, livemetallica.com, our new film, and mucho more. Keep listening to find out how you could end up backstage jamming with us, Metallica. Metallica! This is mandatory Metallica. This is another mandatory Metallica moment. Mandatory Metallica. What's up? This is James from Metallica. Keep it here for the next mandatory Metallica moment. Okay? Stay tuned for another Metallica mandatory moment. All weekend. All week. Keep it here to score your tickets to see Metallica, Some Kind of Monster, on the big screen. Metallica rocks the big screen, bro. Some Kind of Monster is in theaters now, so get off your ass and go see it. Only one station can send you to see Metallica on the big screen. It's Jaimito, or James, or Papa Het, to all of you Metallica fans. Happy holidays from all of us in Metallica.